Okay, good evening, everybody. 6 o'clock, we'll get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, do some introductions. So, we did it briefly, but we'll do it officially now. I'm Charlie McDonald. I'm the chairman of this committee.
Sam Goldstein. And
Sorry, what did you
that was it. Sam Goldstein. I don't know what else.
Matt Ostringer, Shoe Community Theater. Connor Dean, Black Rock Theater.
Ed Bochian, Fairfield Building Merchants.
And you are?
Mark Barnhart, Katie Lang from the Quick Center.
Okay. So next business will be the approval of the minutes from 6/18. You guys all have a copy in front of you.
I apologize for not getting it.
If you read through the minutes and you'd like to entertain a motion to accept them.
Oh, Stan, was not here.
I'm getting there.
I approve. So you're making a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any corrections? Okay, we're good.
I think that's technically the,
There's Christine. There's a packet for you right there. Okay. So the next thing will be, we have a guest presenter today, Pacino from Greenfield Commons Merchant Group.
Thank you for allowing me to attend. So I'm actually my business is Lexington Home and Garden in Greenfield Commons, and we have established a small merchants association. But there, we've been doing different events in the within our businesses. And two of the events that we have coming up, these are the first time we're doing them. We'd like to get some input and help from the Arts Council, in publicizing them and B, and get into that. So we'll start with the first one that's coming up on September 29th. We're planning on doing a chalk art contest. If you're not familiar with that, they are very popular down south. In Texas, they're also the shops at Yale have been doing them for I think, the past 7 years, and it's basically it's chalk art. We will have two age groups, 13 to 17, which will be teens, and then 18 and up adults. They'll be assigned a parking space, and then the theme will be fall. It has to be obviously family friendly, and they will do their chalk art on the pavement. Anyone 12 and under will be in our breezeway there, and they'll be given some more space. They won't be part of the contest. They'll get just in the front. The other ones will be judging the others. There will be a first prize for the teens, a first prize for the adults, and then a grand prize when the two. That's where we'd like, if you could provide us with judges for that, that would be great.
How many judges are you looking for?
Probably 3. It's September 29th.
Sunday.
Which is a Sunday, with a rain date of October 6th, which is also a Sunday. We're doing them on Sundays because most of the businesses are closed then, and we're not interfering with anyone, especially this one where we're taking away all the parking spaces in the front. Hopefully all the parking spaces in the front. We have 30 spaces there that we can utilize. And again, I've kind of taken, this is what was kind of doing. We're following what the shops at Yale did. The prizes will be things from gift certificates and things from the merchants, and then we're actually doing
The space where Jennifer Bone or
which is the farmer's market.
Right.
Yeah, and then during this event as well, we're hoping on the green to have some local artists and artisans on there. We're not gonna charge them anything to have their booths up and you can sell things. We've got Mr. Emesis say, so he does soaps and crocheting, jewelry. So those are the kinds of things that we're doing for that one. Again, that's September 29th. The other one that we in a meeting, we discussed is doing an art walk. And that we obviously we need a little bit more assistance from you. What we're thinking of doing that, again, we'll be on a Sunday. We're looking at May 18th right now. And so what we would do is anyone, the businesses that want to participate, we would get artists to place their art within the businesses. We'd have snacks or hors d'oeuvres and drinks, wine, during the entire art block. So hopefully we can get it in most of the businesses or all of the businesses in the Greenfield area, as well as within our breezeway, and then anyone that has outdoor materials we can put onto the temporarily on the green. So it would be a way to promote artists within the community and get them, they have this. These are things that we want to do as an annual event and have them grow as they go along. So that's the ones that we have coming up that we like to help with. One that we started last year that went over very well, and we have the second annual one. This year is we did the Scarecrow contest, which was a benefit for the new Norma Freem Birth Center, and we did raise a good sum of money for them, and it was a very well an event that the community really did like. The Chalk Art Festival, there'll be a fee for that, and that one will be benefiting the Friends of the Fairfield Library. So those are.
We've worked with Ed and his group for a while. Continue to work with the merchants there and promote. We thought this would be a nice connection with the work that you're doing, and something that was consistent with some of the feedback you've received from other.
Talk about the Scarecrow event. Did you give a date for that or not?
Yeah, it's Scarecrow event. So we started registration on September 17th. It runs through the 11th of October. We start the install on October 1st, and that goes through usually after the 12th. And then voting starts on the 12th, runs through the 30th. We announce the winners on the 31st. And that one we have 3 different prize groups. Most original, Fairfield Prize, and People's Choice. And that one the public votes for. We forms they fill out and vote for the person.
And the artwork for, I can't say, I'm sorry, I just got back from California, I'm sorry, I thought.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I am, May 18th, 2025.
Yes.
That's a good thing as opposed to leaving up the art
Yeah, like,
period of time.
right. The indoor stuff, if, the participants, like I would leave it up as long as, the others was willing. In my store, in fact, if that part, we're looking at now. I think some of the other ones would leave them up for longer. So,
Clearly there was stuff outside.
yeah, the outdoor pieces or anything that was in the breeze, we would have to.
About how many installations would there be?
I'd have to get a count from all of the participants there that want to do it. There's 17 businesses.
Okay, that's what I was asking, 17 windows?
Well, they're full businesses. Those are we've got, like, I don't know. It would be, we put them.
Liquor store to a
Liquor
restaurant
store.
to
Yeah, we've got the
chocolate.
restaurant, we've got the jazz brewer, we've got the vet, we've got the chocolate shop. Jim Butler, definitely will do a cream.
We work with the artist to figure out the best way to
Best way to
install and show
install
our
it.
work, right? So,
Absolutely.
and you just, for that, you're looking for help from a promoting and marketing,
promoting and marketing, yeah, and then artists.
artists.
Yeah, that was my other question. If he has a database, then.
No. And the thing is, like, I've got a lot of local artists in my store. I've got some of the carved whales. She's up in North Haven. That's from West Florida. Okay.
And you have 2025, so we have some time. Yeah. Christine, Orlando.
So right now, you're just looking for, you're looking for promotion, but also the one event, there's only one event you need judges for. That's the one in
That's the
September.
September in the trial.
That's September
29th.
We need that between friends of and from us, but is there any commission members here who are willing to volunteer for that now? Okay, so we start with Christine.
I could probably also get people from the
sure.
studio to do it, because I have artists that
Oh, great.
would be happy to volunteer. If you just need 3, I can get.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the timing? I mean, it's Sunday, but what hours do you looking at?
It says in here something about at 3:30, the judging, I guess, is 3:30.
Yeah, it was in that, sorry. It's,
You have here,
yeah, they come to register. So 12
By
o'clock.
3:30.
Yeah, so
For
then,
judging.
right.
So 3:30 to 4 is the judging.
Right, so the whole event is 12 to 4, which is things going on in the green, and then the artists doing their work, and then the judging, they stop at 3:30, the judging happens, and you know, for them at 4.
Do you need any other artisans on the green?
Yes.
I know people that can.
Okay.
It's on our website, put it on the Instagram, whatever.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. Well, wait, this will be on Experience Fairfield. We'll work with Connor. We're actually, I think, meeting Monday to talk about next month's promotional schedule, marketing schedule, social media wise, so.
Do you have any images from last year?
This is the first
Just
time.
make sure we're doing the truck, yeah,
Scarecrow's last year.
scarecrows next
If
to
you have
it.
pictures from that would be helpful.
You might have to use some stock imagery
For the chopper.
for the chalk art, because we didn't do it. this
No, we
year.
didn't do that, so, yeah.
But I'm sure we can come up with something. Yeah.
Any more questions, Fred?
Does the winning work, does it remain for a certain amount of time, or what happens?
The chalk art will remain until it rains.
Hopefully rains.
Hopefully rains, yeah. That's, I mean, it's all afterwards.
Yeah, okay. I'm just wondering if there's a way to sort of commemorate it, or, an opportunity for.
We'll definitely
a photographer.
Yeah.
pictures and then probably as being constructed, that'd be fun to get
I
some.
mean, that's another way of doing it, in all honesty, is not to monetize everything in life, but is to take those pictures and start framing, so not only is it chalk art, it becomes framed art. And that could be a commission type of thing to possibly see if we can, if you want.
We'll see about that.
Great poster.
It kind of ties into our later discussion about some of these initiatives that the public wanted us to do. Public art was high on that list. So like, I'm just wondering, as an example, what are the logistics for something like this, like making the winning one permanent? I'm not saying it's practical in this case, but it's an interesting exploration, given that public art is something that we're trying to endorse here. Like, what would be the obstacles to make that final one like a permanent installation overdone in that way? Like, what would we be facing?
Epoxy,
What's that?
like an
Yeah,
epoxy cover.
well, practically, yeah, on that, but I'm wondering town-wise and things like that.
Well, it's on private property, so
Yeah.
we have to get the permission of the property owner.
Becomes a mural.
Something.
Yeah,
It's also-
exactly.
When they have some bus to it.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if, what's it?
I'm saying it's, the chalk arts are loose grass, and then anything that I've seen in Florida, and that they're done in parking spaces and in the roads.
Yeah, I understand it, not,
You
yeah.
kind of, how you would, I mean, you're saying
You
epoxy,
could epoxy it, but because it's chalk, moisture from under.
You need to, yeah,
It's gonna come up
and especially on asphalt, then you get the,
Yeah.
that's really
I
important.
just wondered, this is a good like little prototype for if that was a permanent installation, what would we need to do in terms of materials? And what would we need to do in terms of business owners and
Street art.
just a good example to look at.
Yeah, maybe this is just one of those fleeting examples where it's temporary.
I'm sure this one is, I'm just saying this is gonna come up.
Like, if we had a good photographer that had a ladder,
Yeah.
that could do a down shot, and then could be framed, and then you
Yeah,
start to
yeah,
have like a
yeah.
collection.
Yeah.
I think we can definitely work on memorializing what was.
That's it.
On the handout you gave us, it might be me, but it looks like you have a misplaced comma. Because it says only washable sidewalk truck, it says no sprays, paints, or chalk. And there's a comma, I think you meant chalk markers.
Yes. There's no-
That comma isn't one.
Nicely done, Chuck.
Man.
That's something I would be.
I could have a truck event, you can't use chalk.
I know, that was great.
All right, well, thank you so much, Ed.
Thank you.
Looking forward to
so that I can.
Yeah, 203, I'll give you my cell. 203-450-290. And then here's some. Pass those out. These are all the businesses that are.
Thank you.
Never ends.
Thank you for having me here, I appreciate this. Look forward to working. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next order of business, we're gonna recap and schedule the upcoming art mixers. Katie, do you have a date picked, correct? You're still here?
Yep, I'm still here. September 20th. I was thinking of a 4 p.m. start, because then FWAM has a lecture with the artist with their opening of the gallery in the space. And then that's going to be followed by a local dancer and local musician. And then they typically have a reception afterward as well.
Friday night, so, do you need some assistance from the commissioners?
Well, 6, this is kind of what I do at the theater. So if I need any help, I'll reach out, but it should be pretty easy because I'll be there anyway for the event.
Okay, and can you just shoot me the details on that so we can push that out to folks on our mailing list?
Yep.
Thank you.
How did we feel about the last one?
What did-
Connor, thank you.
Yeah, well, recap Connor's. Connor, let's recap yours.
Yeah, I thought it was good for our first one. For the timing, I think, 5, whatever it was, 5 or 5:30 is tight for people who work. So to still have what it was, 26 some odd people, maybe a little more.
It's quick too.
It was quick. I don't know if, that's something we wanna, I don't know if we really needed much more time if it was that amount of people. If it was more people, then,
It was some good discussions.
Yeah, I got to meet pretty much everyone there.
Yeah.
Time period.
to me, I don't, I do maybe feel like there needs to be a little bit more guided discussion because, which is maybe fine. It kind of felt like it was an opportunity for people just to self-market.
Yeah.
Which, that's part of it as being an artist. You need to be able to network and things like that. But yeah, those would be my thoughts. Is maybe there's, I don't think it has to be like the whole time, but maybe there's just something that helps guide. I'm not sure.
So more of a format going into it, that's fine.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we should just let it run for a couple times and see if we get a different mix of folks. But if the same
Which we
thing
might.
materializes, then I think you're right. It probably does need a little bit more structure to it
Yeah.
to make it more meaningful. Because I'm not sure that people continue to come for that.
Right. And that may just be the crowd that we got, and it may have been just certain people from that crowd.
Just they
I
want.
mean, there was some avid,
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah, my question on that was that the turnout versus how many invitations went out, the percentages. Because as you know, you have high percentage, then you take a percentage of interested by and then turning out. So how many people did we actually have show up?
I don't have those, Mary Ann also
I
had those
think we
numbers.
were trying to keep registration, but there were, so I can go back and look.
Yeah, but that, I mean.
It was about a couple dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had, I think, 4 walk-ups.
Yeah, okay.
So whatever was registered, there was a few people
A
that
couple
didn't
people
show
didn't
up.
show, right?
Yeah, so I would say it was around probably what we had pre-registered.
Yeah, so
Thank you so much for doing that.
Did they come to the show after?
One person came to the show.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, which was, you know,
So I wonder if we can tie in the event with it, because that seems to be part of the purpose, is like,
that was a frustrating thing on
Yeah.
my end, was that I had held a batch of tickets that I did put on sale because people said they were coming to the show. And, you know, like Mary Alice had told me, I think like 13 people were coming to the show
yeah,
that didn't come.
yeah,
So that was from now just on,
Buy the ticket.
Yeah, you have the credit card information?
I didn't have any information.
We asked as part of the sign up,
Right.
if we're interested in coming, but you know, really need to convert that sale. We don't do it, especially if you had that.
Yeah, just because like, not just for me, but I think for any host, it'll, you know, if they can make a few $100 on a ticket sale.
But maybe in the future, like a pre-sale instead of just a,
Right.
Are you interested, yeah?
yeah, like get
Yeah,
the.
and maybe the verbiage was wrong.
Yeah, we would definitely want to change that for sure.
Any notes there, Katie?
Yeah, I think Kate had said that, point to, is there a ticketed aspect that we have
No,
to?
these are always, with the museum, they're always free. So they're actually loving that this is happening because they want more numbers for this event. So we won't run into it for there. And I was thinking of maybe giving out some tickets to the quick season to the people who are there. I just need to touch base with Lori. She was in Montreal scouting work all last week. So once we get together, I can put together what I'll be offering. But this event is for free. So we don't have to worry about holding seats.
Thank you. All right, and Matt, you're working on December date.
yeah, December is pretty busy, but we'll find the right tie-in.
So is it too much for me to,
Yeah, no, you can bring that
No,
up.
you can definitely do it.
you think so?
We talked about doing these quarterly, and she decided, she thinks that she'd like to have one because of her location in October. Thought it'd be beneficial, and I didn't see a
As long as
reason.
the weather's okay, like we have a big space for the parking lot, then
I don't see an issue.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not a lot, which like the setup on it, you know, was virtually nothing. Katie helped
The cost,
me with
I mean, I bought like $50, which is more than enough of stuff we had. I'm sure, hopefully your folks appreciated the green room, but there's plenty left over.
do something like what he's talking about as the Greenfield building, is we would have some of those art set up, and if people were interested in buying anything. And then maybe, like one of the bands didn't get to play on Music Day, and they asked if they could come back in the fall.
Yeah, no.
Thunderstorms, good.
Yeah, they said they wouldn't charge us, they wanted to just play, so we
Yeah.
could have a band.
Great. Awesome.
It's like, but yeah, they offered to maybe play, and then, we could do like free trials on the field just for fun. If anybody wanted to.
Honestly, I think it's great. You know, more
How many people can you fit into your,
In the inside?
yes,
It's
I know.
broken up, so like the main room, I would say, we don't want more than, if it's just people mingling and having drinks and looking around, like 20 maybe. But we have a front porch and a parking lot that we
Right.
use like a festival space.
the van would be outside,
Yeah, we block the
drive, yeah,
driveway.
okay.
So then we'd be on the
Yeah.
porch. We probably would have the wheels on the porch, 2 of the wheels on the porch for trials, and then some tents in the park.
I like it.
Next month, come back with some kind of proposal.
You don't have a date yet? I know,
In
October.
October, I think.
Okay. Because you also have the scarecrow thing is also, you don't want to do anything with.
We'll coordinate to make sure we're not
Yeah,
trying to
okay.
step on too many toes here at the same time.
Okay, marketing and communications.
From my end, not much. If the social continues to grow, I was a little busy, but we've now set up some monthly meetings with Mary Alice and Mark to kind of go over. It'll be just good to coordinate because you guys have a better understanding of what's happening in town, so that will be helpful. And then I have reached out to starting with our commissioners' venues first to start doing the highlights of things. But my next thing that I would like to do is, I don't know if it's like a series of like we pick specific genres of artists that we can somehow digitally highlight their work. You know, so if we say like for the month of September, we're gonna highlight photographers. You know, if you're interested in having your work highlighted by the commission, send 3 images and descriptions to our email address, and, we'll promote them during the month. The next month can be, I probably ask for your help on clarifying some of the genres, but that would be the next thing, in addition to highlighting the venues and what the venues have going on. I would say, it's best to start collecting stuff now, because it's just, days go by.
I'll send you an email.
Yeah, and maybe we can just jump on a Zoom call,
Yeah,
and
sure.
that would be great.
Is anything tied into into Facebook?
We mean tied in.
Well, I just checked, it was at the last,
Yeah, we're having.
April 3rd. That was the last postings, April 3rd, and
There's an issue with the link. I
Yeah,
think something's been
something's
created.
there's something going on.
So I think we'll take
Part
a
of
look
that's
at
part
that.
of what we're gonna talk about Monday is figuring out, because Mary Allison's in a position to help, Connor, push post content.
Okay.
I need to understand what the overall plan is, so we can be
Yeah.
on theme on whatever we're choosing to accentuate that month. But, she can do it more, that's her job.
Yeah, good.
She can do it.
To start to push some of the followers, excellent, great.
Yeah, we're organically getting followers, which is great.
Every time we'll try to do those collaborative posts with experience verification, so cross pollination.
And we're sharing stuff on the Instagram.
Instagram's great. It was the Facebook that was April 3rd, the last one. That's not a good sign.
Something was set up or
Do
something.
you know
Yeah.
the
I think that's what the issue is there was an issue
I never
linking.
go on Facebook, but when I post to Instagram, it posts to Facebook, our studio stuff.
The problem is, because I run so many different accounts,
I think it went through
it's Instagram wants to link to your personal Facebook.
Yeah.
That's where the issue is. So when Mary Alice and I created this, we created a Facebook, but then it wasn't linking to the Instagram, so I went.
The pictures of your wedding.
Oh yeah, no, that's what
So that's how
that's
I'm
what
linking it to
the
my
commission is set up as.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just the linking of the two. It's for some reason, and unfortunately, there's no customer service.
Why?
Yeah.
You can call Mark and ask him what's going on.
I think in the settings.
Don't ask me.
No, Mark's in the first. I was going with the other Mark, sorry.
I just can't remember.
When it pops up right now, it says, "Do you want to post to Connor Dean?" So, anyway,
Thanks, Connor. We're gonna move on to old business. We got 15 minutes for 5 items, and it's gonna take 5 minutes to read, so pay attention. The resolution and
You
the
don't have
other.
to read it, you can read it.
I get to read it. Has everybody read it? Yes, they have.
This is that last meeting.
Okay, I just wanna make sure we're on the same page. So, the other resolutions have the map, great map. And the map,
Shows the historic district over there as well, so.
yeah. We're here to consider and act upon the resolution establishing the arts and cultural district. This is
We
Mark.
can refer to the Board of Selectmen. So this is one of the last steps that we need to do before we submit the application to the arts, which is to have the Board of Selectmen the establishment of the district. So I thought it would be appropriate if it came as a recommendation from the Arts Commission. You kind of already signaled your intent to do that, and we've been working on this for a while, so. But this is the resolution I would present to the Board of Selectmen. And it does, I think, touch all the bases that it needs to from the Connecticut Office of the Arts. One of the things it will do, if approved, is also designate this board as the commission for the Arts District. You'll have to augment your membership to include representation from other stakeholder groups that aren't represented on the board. But we're proposing to use this board as the foundational piece of it, and then just augment the membership to incorporate those other stakeholders that need to be represented.
So everybody's taking a look at the resolution, remember from last month, you all read it.
Not one comma out of place.
No, can I stop them from reading it? So, all in favor of the resolution?
Well, you had the motion. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Sam, Matt. Sam G and that. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, passed unanimously.
Okay, so we'll put this on
Nice, well done.
our August agenda.
Okay, well, I'm gonna turn over to Sam C, but he's absent.
Oh, I got it. It's,
We're gonna get double dose of Sam G.
yeah, two Sams, and forget the last letters, right? So I just put a couple of words together. I mean, I'll just read through it. It's really, the concept is to create a community-run arts website and group. And they've been actually growing more by leaps and bounds. I just did minor research and I saw all this stuff coming up. And that's what really Sam C wanted to put on the table, to get this approved, this concept approved to move forward so we can start really digging deep. The concept being create a space, a hub for artists to start coming into, to start to collaborate, to start to talk, a virtual hub before we actually have a physical hub. I mean, just that way we can start bringing together and, having email address, the whole 9 yards. It would be an instrument promoting and fostering and the arts, the community, and creating that town art community, at least virtually. So that's what the Friends of, and it should not, I'm gonna say this, it could go into the minutes. I'm saying that it should not be the Friends of Fairfield Arts Commission, because then all of a sudden it brings it back to the commission. You want to have it separated from the commission, endorsed or supported, I forgot what the legal word, supported by. So that way they can run on their own.
You guys work out what the title of it is,
Right.
Friends of the Fairfield Arts or something like Friends of Fairfield Arts.
Yeah, that's
The council, not commission, so it's.
Yeah.
I already have Friends of Fairfield Art, but we can work that out, but you know what I'm saying about it. Okay.
And need to kind of figure out how that interface works.
Yes, but that's exactly once you guys say, or we as the commission say, okay, and I already sent Sam C saying, I'm confirming that you're leading this. He didn't answer, so that means it's yes.
It's about, yeah.
Yeah.
All in favor?
So,
The idea is really to just
That's me.
engage artists and get them involved in the
Right.
work and connect with other artists.
exactly.
Just so you know, I think that they closed.
Okay.
AR workshop, because we just got a call that their space was open.
I know, space is open,
Capital Photo, yeah, she moved.
They are going
You should have
bankrupt.
just talked to Jessica today. She had mentioned it, so
She did, just at AR.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
I will ask her.
someone offered that space to us.
Okay.
But
We don't know yet.
I don't know. Anyway, we went and looked, but it was not the right size.
All right, Sam C, thank you. Sam G,
Well, did we say we approved that for him to go forward?
there's no approval necessary.
Yeah, we'd like to do that.
The sense of the body is that we would like to create
There we go.
And we'll go to his report next month.
That's it. I'm just looking forward to the report.
Report to his further report next month.
Okay, now Sam G. So this is, I had met with Michelle Hermson. Michelle is not on. She's gonna try and get here. If she can, she will. This is the first, an idea, concept that we were starting to play with is to create a naming for the challenge. So it will be, we call for our entries to name our new town-wide Fairfield Art and Innovation Contest. It's what we broke it down, as we said before, 11 to 14, ages 11 to 14, and the second group is 15 to 18. And we need a name. We have some directions for the naming. I'm not going to read to you because you can read it. And then how to email, and we're going to set up timelines, which I'll go through in a minute. And then how the town's wide Fairfield Arts. I'm sorry, Katie, I'll hold it up, but
I'll send it out.
Yeah. I'll send, yes. So, participants are challenged to come up with an innovation artist solution to preconceived challenge, and the idea is to create some innovation with the challenge, not basic. So there's an example, well, here's an example, for instance. If we did, if the challenge is bring art to the streets of Fairfield, so this would be a bicycle stand, and it looks like, on the wall.
I've actually been there and put on a pen.
Oh, yeah,
I got a t-shirt with that on it.
Yeah.
I wear it next month.
It's very cool. And then the other, another example would be suggested challenge, recycle discarded objects found in Fairfield, trying to keep it Fairfield themed. And this is, if you see this, these are telephones with telephone wire, okay?
Katie, you don't know what you're missing.
I see that.
You're gonna sit.
With camera, okay.
I see.
You're gonna send
I
me.
have new glasses.
Okay. So a lot of things that we're gonna have to deal with, and the innovation team will deal with this. So we're just gonna bring stuff to you guys to let you know where we are. But there's gonna be, what does it mean? Like, for instance, if someone comes up with an idea like this, well, that's been done. But we'll consider that more innovative than just.
Fairfield, so there you go.
My mistake is quality for not piano pen.
Okay.
Quality for
Make them
that whole town is painted really beautifully.
We should use them as an example. So go ahead, what?
Is this contest going to end up with a piece of permanent art on the streets of Fairfield? Like the winner gets to have their
Yeah,
piece.
but we'll see what format and all that. And again, we'll look at requirements. For instance, what if someone has laser beam, shoot it all over, and we can't afford really to do that, but they can set up, and again, these requirements have to be thought out. They can set up what it would be, how it would cost, the initial, not necessarily prototypes, but design work with the right details. And then we'll see, then we'll cost it out. If we can do it, find a sponsor, so to pay for it, we'll figure all that out, but make the art real. You remember Christo, he used to sell the little drawings he had before he started putting the things up. So we'll see, those requirements, and you'll be playing with us, right?
So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. You asked me what you can do, you're starting to start to come to us. Go ahead.
So what you're asking right now is whether the commission wants to go ahead with the art and innovation contest and have a naming as a precursor to it.
Yes. And the naming is going to be a marketing initiative too, because it's starting to seed the market there.
Yeah, of course.
And get people involved.
That's right.
And then we have to, again, the Friends of Fairfield and the artists, we're going to have artists mentor each one of the participants. So we get them involved.
you look at for this like in September when the schools are back in.
Oh, the timing.
We're talking 11, 14, 15, 18, probably.
Oh, no, absolutely. But here's my list of things that we need to start to figure out. And one of them is the calendar for the naming, and then for the challenge, the rules and the requirements, timings, sponsorships, and donors and grants. We're going to have to start to look at that. What prizes we can give to the winners.
So Sam, you would want to come back, work on this more with Michelle and others, and then come back with details in terms of.
Correct. This is how we're working.
Just to say is.
This is where we are.
Yeah, this is where we are, and.
An update.
So good with going ahead.
Is that, but it,
Great.
Yeah, that's great.
okay. My question is that an okay approach to do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I'm good then. I'm done.
Thank you, Sam. We got the 24-25 work plan from Matt.
All right. Well, again, I just was gonna ask two quick things that are relevant to this is, just Mark, did you want to explain anything about Sustainable Connecticut, how it ties in, so people have that?
It's really, so you may know that the town has been applied several times. It's up for renewal every 3 years through Sustainable CT. There's a certification process that municipalities can apply to be certified as a sustainable community. And it's a very arduous application. There's a lot of moving parts to it, but one of the components on which communities are evaluated is their support for arts and cultural endeavors. And, previously we didn't score very well in this area, but I think we're making some solid progress. And what was interesting to me as Matt and I were digesting again some of the feedback we received from the conversation that we had at the end of April, was a lot of themes that overlapped with some of the same criteria on which communities are judged from a sustainable perspective. So, I think there's an opportunity here, obviously, to respond to the feedback we got at the April workshop and develop a more formalized work plan to guide our work for the next 2 to 5 years. But in doing so, we can also be sensitive to some of the criteria in which, communities like Fairfield are evaluated in their support for arts and cultural endeavors. And this, I think, would help organize our thoughts. Because, a lot of the stuff that we heard, it's not necessarily unique, that people were reflecting on things that they've seen elsewhere, things that they thought were successful and wanted to replicate that and bring it here. And so, a lot of it is building upon, work of others that have done before. So I just thought it was an interesting connection.
Yeah.
I think we just need to flush it out a little bit more, but.
Yeah, exactly. There's a ton of overlap where it just makes sense to keep it in mind. Like their criteria for the arts is establish a poet laureate, establish an arts council, display public art, establish commit dedicated funding to the arts. It's our goals, almost to a T. So it's just worth keeping in mind as we create a work plan based on the community engagement event. The one other thing I was going to say that kind of ties back to the events we're doing is the sidewalk sale and street fairs this Saturday, right?
Yes, it is.
So we're going to have a band outside. Joe Gray is performing, the same person who performed at our event when we were all together. A lot of people are walking around. It's a good opportunity to represent the commission if we want to have any materials out or do any social media capture. We can do that if you don't provide direction or if anyone wants to come and hand out stuff. It's that kind of thing. So, all right, getting to
Saturday?
Saturday. 11 to 4 is when the band is. I think the event is 10 to 4.
10 to 4.
This is the sidewalk sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is in the parking lot of it?
No, this is right on the square in front of the community theater. And Joe does a lot of talking, so he can shout out the commission and whatever. If anyone wants to send any info, he'll.
And we'll definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, so send whatever.
Your point, Matt, it's there, I know we have that, what is it, tablecloth with our logo on it. Can we put that at every event?
Yeah, where there's a natural connection or tie-in, we just need to, staff it.
Even unnatural, just
In this case, we are
advertising.
staffing it.
Yeah.
Mary Alice and I will be there. We could also have that presence on the green. We'll be there from 8 o'clock till.
So you'll be there with our table on Saturday?
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, we should have it join our email list sheet.
Something to hand out.
I think it's probably too late now for.
This is actually it's a good thing because we had a while back commissioned an artist to do some posters for us, and we ordered too many posters.
Okay.
We're selling them for a while, and I think we satisfied the demand. So at this point, we had posters, and my instruction to Mary Alice was get rid of the posters. So what we're going to do is offer them as a gift if you sign up for an email list. So we'll do that. We're making the posters. It's a natural tie-in because we had an artist that did them.
Yeah, I know we're on a tangent, but does it make sense by Saturday to use Canva, print out business cards with our social media, barcode, and
We can get up with something.
we probably have the budget for that. Canva's kind of.
200 for $1.50?
Oh,
This body.
Yeah, I think this probably has a budget for Canva. I think we paid $50 for 500.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, back to the agenda. So yeah, this is, I think everyone knows what this is. This was listening to what was it, 200 people? How many? Yeah, 200 people giving all their feedback and then everybody, kind of taking the conglomeration of that, putting it into categories, the documents that Mark sent us. We're taking their feedback and we're saying, how can we make sense of this? How can we turn it into a work plan? What is the continuum of practicality from, how labor intensive are these projects and how expensive would they be? And if we bring them back to the community, what kind of support can we get? So that's the context. So basically, here are the ideas that got the most support. There were that the most tables expressed interest in. And here are some of the ideas summed up. I can give this in a document. Happens to be 4 pages right now. I didn't want to hand everybody 4 pages, but it'll be whittled down. I'm going to go through it very quickly. The most popular initiative concept was public art. So some of the goals here: conduct an inventory of existing public art installations, identify new spaces for public art. Mark and I were talking about, if you know the area where Sunny Days is, across the road that's perpendicular to Post Road, there's just an open field. When it's Veterans Day, you see all the American flags. It's just a prime and visible spot that could be managed and used. And then taking a space like that and identifying what are the advantages, what are the challenges. We talked about, that's not a very accessible space for pedestrians. There's no parking. It's not really a walking area. So maybe not an interactive installation, but something striking. It's a very visible space. So that's a good example of a underutilized space the town owns. And so that's just an example. But then you can take that to private businesses. We talked about the example at Circle Hotel, Fairfield Circle Hotel. There's the big mural that was commissioned by the owner. And what other businesses would be willing to support that? There's more, we'll get into it, but basically the next initiative was to develop a project that's a model installation and just determine who has responsibility for the space. If we take that Sunny Days adjacent space, is it Parks and Rec? Is it, how do we find out who, and we pursue that. So that's one example of a practical project based on something that the community was highly motivated to do. So that's number one. Second most popular was workshops and mixers for artists. So it was offering a series of workshops and mixers. I think we're kind of there with that. So we've answered. I think we can make that clear as this is an answer to your interest.
Yeah, there's 2 components. One is like informal networking opportunity, the mixer is, and then there was a professional development.
That's coming, exactly.
Something we need to talk about further.
I separated that out. Exactly. So we talked about under the mixer, like an open house series. It's kind of what we're doing, and rotating at different arts businesses. And we'll get to the mentoring workshops in a moment. The next one is providing space for artists. It was 7 of the 8 tables or however that wanted that.
Yeah.
This is probably the least practical and the most long-term kind of initiative. We've talked about how there's a lack of affordable spaces. There's a lack of spaces in general for this, and financially how it would work. We discussed a possibility where eventually, as we grow interest in this, there might be some private property owners who might want to use a property for this purpose. We looked at the sportsplex as an example of, what would an artsplex look like? Again, not the most practical idea at the moment, but worth keeping in mind as an exploration. Then there's
Just reimagine it like Sam is doing with the virtual.
See, if we start to look at this, for instance, if we start looking at the virtual and to put it on the table, say, if we can grow that, maybe we can start looking, we'll show by numbers and involvement the real need for a physical space and not like, what I would like?
Yeah, and that's great that we can have these and this is the whole, looking at what are the scopes of these projects and what are the practicalities. That's a really good
Quantitative data to support, absolutely.
So, and then we talked about the gazebo, the lobby of our theater there at Sacred Heart. These are places that we already have access to and we could utilize for short-term art displays and workshops. We talked about a case study of the Westport Art Center, a very highly valuable property that has been, a fixture of arts in Westport. What's that, how does that work? And maybe there's something equivalent. The next one was popular too, engaging, mentoring young artists. We talked about a mentorship program, and how do we qualify mentors? What, in a lot of arts, it's not like there's the law degree, the medical degree, the whatever comprehensive test. How do we identify mentors and how do we agree that this person's a qualified mentor? So figuring that out, and then kind of identifying the mentorship process. There are 2 universities to possibly partner with this. We talked about the business of arts. How do we connect aspiring artists with professional artists, and how can our individual businesses?
Can I just ask Mark something to this, to the mentoring thing? How do we not just mentor, but know that this person that we're putting with whoever it is that they go with is okay to be?
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about.
How
How do you vet?
Vet is a good word. How do we vet and indemnify?
You'd have to do
Because-
a background check
Yes,
if you're
you can.
taking an adult.
And can we do an indemnification for
What we have in place, we do background checks. We're running a movie maker program now for middle school and high school kids, and background checks are required, and they have to take these free classes on community partnerships, working with minors.
Okay.
So that part I feel like is more streamlined. It's how do we identify like an expert musician, for
Yeah,
example?
well, one of the things that part of our thing is when we send out these things is to start asking, going out to the artists, what they are, who they are, and having a survey for the mentorship program for here, which is the mentorship program.
Yeah.
So let's combine those.
Yeah.
Mentors would have to apply as well.
Yeah, that's,
Mentors and mentees, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
do it, in the fashion that we're putting together for the challenge. It's going to the students, to the kids, to the schools. So starting with the youth and then bringing in the arts mentors to participate in that. So that would be the vetting process, yeah, and then that becomes part of building that art community from this end of it. So, go ahead, sorry.
So there's just one more initiative that was popular. There were a number of others that had like 3 votes or less. I'm leaving those out for now for obvious reasons. There's another. So street performances and arts district were the 2 other things. We talked about funding for street art, and I'm working on a lane of that for performers outside the theater there, where we can help with funding that at the theater. But other ways to support street performances, and then the cultural arts district, which is obviously in progress. But those were the initiatives. I think each of those gave a few like kind of practical examples. So the idea is if we take these and package them up and say, here are the things that you wanted to be supported as artists by, and here's what you wanted for the town. Here are the beta versions of each one. Now we need interns. We need, have to identify funding and getting sort of a work plan. And now reflecting back to those 200 people, if we want to do street performances, here's the support we need, who's in, and that's, so basically we take this plan back to the community for more feedback and volunteer and possible funding avenues. Yeah.
I think the idea was to refine this a little bit, but at the same time, we have an opportunity to apply again for the supporting arts grants. Office of the Arts, I'm not sure, last year we kind of just asked for $1,000 to help support the Arts Commission's work, and we used that towards the community workshop that we held, all the $1,000 we had in the budget. We asked for something similar this year, but maybe that would help, maybe we could find somebody that would an intern that with proper guidance can help us develop this work plan a little bit more. We could actually pay for an intern a little bit.
Can we tap the universities for?
Yeah, I think that's where we would start.
Yeah, no,
Universities, obviously.
Where did pay come from? No kidding, go ahead. It's a college kid. I know.
Either way.
Yeah, that's
But the idea
a different
is,
world now.
there's a lot of, you kind of get what you pay for too sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
In defense of some students I work with at my front of house, there are lovely college students that are hustlers and looking for important work.
But that,
There you go. Actually, that was good.
That one.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's just an idea, because I think what we really need to do is develop this work plan. And as Matt said, this will help inform our request to the town bodies in terms of asking for additional dollars. Some of these don't cost very much at all, if anything. Others will require an expenditure of some size. You're gonna seed public art. There's a capital component to this. But we need to be able to articulate what that is, what the expectations, what the objective and goal will be. So I think that's what we need to do. But in the meantime, we have started to incorporate in our work some of the feedback we got, like the mixers, and we're progressing on the cultural district and other things. So I think it's just important to continue the progress that we've been making. So.
Yeah, sorry, it's long-winded, but it's trying to summarize a big workshop of many people. And so if we were to, present this back, what format should we be prepared to present in? Are we gonna do another kind of get together in that sense, or?
Well, a couple things we had talked about. Sometimes people were able to attend physical places like workshops, and other times, it might be helpful to pair that with other ways in which we can engage people, either through some kind of survey or some other mechanism by which people can make their voices heard, but they don't have to physically show up to that event. There were other people that wanted to come and couldn't because of other commitments. So that's the problem with having just focus solely on that. But I think once we refine this a little bit more, maybe we're going to need more feedback on a couple of these areas. Yeah. I mean, as we started talking about physical space for artists, what do artists really need? What's the physical? Is it to make art? Is it to display art? What is it? So I think you're going to have some questions, and you're going to both, right? So.
Gene, you about to answer? I know.
It might be easier for us to get places to display art as opposed to making art, but even there, we talked about what access to town controls that perhaps we could provide maker space or space short term. It's not like you have your own studio that you can come in and use long term, but there are things that we just have to think about.
Website with a lot of people following it, we can start doing things like having contests or challenges that we send out, and then it can be shown in place, but that they can all between and work on it at home.
It's good if we just pick a couple things that we can work on and get them done, and then continue to build on that success. And my recommendation is to start small and manageable in terms of scope and scale and cost, and then as we progress.
Yeah. Does that make sense to everyone on that? That's a summary.
Really great job you did.
Okay, I just trying to make sure it's helping to funnel this into some, because picking one manageable project of each, that's a small scope to at least show example and get people get support for it. And to show where we're already doing that, like the cultural district and the mixers. So. Okay, thank you.
Just to finish up on business, last month when you were on Zoom, I know you had, in the minutes, you had 3 people volunteer to be on your Innovation Art Challenge.
Right.
They're all from the arts place. You might want to, you didn't reach out to them or anything, did you?
I did, but we're gonna reach again.
Okay. Are they get back to you?
Yes, they sort of. It'll be fine now. And we're also putting an outside team together. And I do want to ask sort of a committee type of questions. Now, let's say I'm working with Michelle Herbson, okay, and we start talking about the challenge. Can she participate? Or does she have to wait? No, but public speak, is she part of the public or now part of this team? See what I mean?
It's part of this innovative art challenge, which
Yeah.
is the development here.
So she doesn't have to wait till, okay, public comment. I just wanted to make sure.
And like we had Ed Pacino here earlier talking
Okay.
about something.
Okay, then fine.
Yeah, future speaker.
Okay, great.
Okay, anything other new business?
Yes. This is from Michelle. She didn't make it, but this is a Michelle concept, which is amazing. It's called Art Class Pass. And since we have somebody from each one of the venues and initiatives, is to create this fee-based, I don't have to say anything, all right.
Talked about it.
Yeah, it's like the physical fitness pass is something that happens at each venue. It's a monthly fee or whatever, and they can have the little check mark once at FTC, once at the community, once at, the Black Rock Theater, whatever. I'm not sure what goes on the table for that. Once at the studio, we have something for everyone that you could put into this card.
Selling it?
It's the commission's card, so yeah, you're doing
Like a fundraiser.
yeah, well, yeah,
It's like the coupon. book.
yeah, it's like a coupon book from the Fairfield Arts Commission. What it is, go ahead, knock yourself out, have a volunteer, I'm done. That was it for me.
It's on Michelle, right?
No, Michelle is,
So she's good at coming up with.
yeah, Mark knows
You
that,
have to kind of temper it a little bit.
yeah, so,
He's got to put some staff to it. though.
yeah, but that's,
We've talked about it many times with our tourism partners about creating something like that, a pass.
I mean, even if it's like, if for instance, FTC show, if it's $25 worth of coming to a show, so because that is part of their art classes to see a performance.
But how does that work? If somebody buys a pass,
Right.
like, are we gonna have random people showing up at our places at not very good times and expecting to be?
No, you could put the criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put your
For any show
Yeah.
at Black.
up to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly. Each one has the criteria. I mean, that's,
And you have to go around to each venue and determine what they're gonna do as part of the pass, and you have to monetize it, you have to sell it. It's an effort, so that's why we haven't done it, because we haven't had the staff.
right. But now that we have one person from each venue here, well, yeah, they can start to think about it.
Yeah, but
with
the
their-
question is, are these venues and businesses donating? If it's a fundraiser, you said for the commission,
Yeah,
I think
that gets tricky.
that's the expectation.
that's, well, to Mark, I'm done. I got nothing to offer.
Okay, anything else on the new business?
The only thing I did want to mention, which was also mentioned previously, but we have this application to submit next month to the Connecticut Office of the Arts, the Sporting Arts Grant. So we were going to put in for a grant again this year, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're asking for 50,000.
I think you actually,
Or asked for $2,000.
I don't think this, I mean, unless you guys with a municipal, it's different, but they don't request money. That's interesting.
request a number.
Yeah, we don't request the number, we just give all of our accounting information.
Oh.
You don't request an actual dollar amount.
I haven't read the application that closely, but I thought I did last year.
Again, it might be different for a municipality because you're not bringing it, like, for some of them, it's based on how many donations you bring throughout the year or whatever.
I didn't bring the application with me, but just, we're gonna put in for it.
Thank you.
I mean, that's okay.
Any other new business? Public comment.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to quickly ask, Connor, the number of people that came to 25, how many of those were council related?
I did not do any of the data entry, so I don't have that. That would be.
There was probably about 5 of us there.
Plus me,
Yeah.
so maybe, all right.
It wasn't a huge turnout, but
No, I was there like any keeping track of emails if they weren't registered?
Yeah, no, we have to register. Yeah, we did keep registration. Why?
Why?
Keeping track of, I know somebody who didn't show up to this one, registered, didn't show up to the conversation.
Yeah.
registered. So I see the same name, registered, and never showed up. So.
Okay, yeah, no, why I was asking, I guess, just trying to understand the public reaction to what we're doing. And it just helps to know, you know.
Not sure,
it
we're still building awareness, so I'm not sure people are really aware of what we're doing, so.
Agreed.
We're reacting.
The people that I know that went really enjoyed it.
There you go.
They did,
they
and,
did.
and a couple of them were
Yeah.
young people that worked for me, and
Yep.
they thought it was great.
I wonder if I talked to them.
That Kate and Kay. And,
Yeah.
I don't have Kate names.
Are they recent graduates from Fairfield?
One, yes.
Okay, I did talk, they were great.
And the other one's from Eckerd.
But I think to your point was just starting to build the database before we can even get to the quantitative of how it's really working.
You have suggestions?
Yeah.
How we can,
I just think things differ very differently, so I'm still like listening to how you guys organize.
So how do you see
A
things?
lot there. How to say that in a nutshell, because I know you guys are ready to go, but I guess for me, my impression from the big group meeting was that they want to create, right? And I feel like on the one hand, we absolutely need organized framework structure in order to move forwards, but at the same time, I would like to have seen
what's preventing people from creating?
Do you want a
That's
community
another-
that creates?
That's another, I guess what I was saying, for example, coming up with a name for the Fairfield Friends.
Yeah.
Like that would be a great way to have that group of
Naming
80
contest, yeah.
create, right? Because if they can come up with a name,
Yeah, that's
that gives them a
We're doing
feeling.
for the challenge. That's exactly it. That's going to have to everyone know.
I think you're
And the
suggesting.
friends, yeah, absolutely.
But like, it's not just that, it's more including that public in the organization of how these things get done, because that's like left brain, right brain.
I would just like to say for the record though, I'm so glad you come to meetings, but again, we're all volunteers. Nobody comes to the meetings.
Well, we had 3 or 4 last month, you weren't here.
I wasn't here.
But that's why.
To me though, do people want to have more of a voice because
Yeah.
there's an opportunity to voice it at our monthly meetings. It's hard to, I don't know.
I think there was such a drop off in connection between that one big group meeting and anything afterwards that I think to an outsider that doesn't know what's going on and didn't know to ask about it, it feels like it's a black hole. Like,
Well, would it be strange to post what we're doing in our next meeting and invite people that wanted to have a voice to come?
I think you'll have a new read after we see who shows up at the Quick Center in September. I would expect a larger crowd there. I don't know.
I think this is just it's natural growing pains because this is a volunteer organization.
We're a form of
staffed
government.
by a skeleton crew.
and that's
And-
why I feel
and
like
just-
it's really important to
Yeah.
get connected with
Yeah.
all of that group in a more feedback way
Yeah.
earlier on in terms of like doing this now, like getting them connected now. And I know you guys are trying in your organized way, but I just, that's my,
It takes a commitment to create a community, and it takes constant talking and
yeah, start
Engaging.
small.
yeah. So the answer to you is yes. Who's going to help us do that?
Yeah, I could definitely give you my ideas
Yeah,
on
right.
that, but I can't.
Yeah, the ideas
Sound
are-
it off,
Yeah,
right?
no, that's not ideas. We need people actually doing the stuff. I mean, we're Friends of Fairfield right now.
I think it's a lot.
Friends of Fairfield could be started and work with Sam, get that up and going, contact artists, get them onto whatever website page that's gonna be developed, which will, there'll be time and I guess some money, but yeah.
We just have to constantly just challenge ourselves to make sure that we're connecting as best we can and figure out, different ways in which we can engage folks. And so it's just a good observation.
Do we send things to them, like updates on,
They're the mailing list, so we send out
so they
the
know?
mailing list with the mixers and stuff like that, but
Again,
again, is there other ways which we can communicate what we've been doing? I'm sure there are. It's just at some point, somebody's gotta write the content, post the content, send it out to folks.
Right.
Yeah, and I just want to remind everybody too, like, we are doing above and beyond, I think, for a volunteer government commission. Like planning and zoning is not having events and coming up with names for things. I wouldn't want to be tasked with, they're tasked with, but I do think it's not for lack of want or need. It's getting us to be committed to something outside of these meetings. It's
I think, yeah, but don't feel like this is an attack.
No.
Because I definitely sense that there's a bit of defensiveness if a new idea is brought to the table, that people feel a little bit defensive, and I think we're just trying, or other people that are public are trying to show you guys what you're missing and not tell you that you need to fix it. They're trying to say this is what's missing from their perspective, and they are willing to help fix it and work on it, but there isn't a follow-up saying, do it, go.
A lot of the things that people were looking for.
We got water in the car.
Like the number one thing was public art.
Right, but I don't think that's something you guys have to necessarily solve, right? Like,
You have to figure out how to make it happen.
No, that's the thing, that's exactly what I'm saying. What we need to do is provide a way for them to get together and talk about it, because then you've got 100 people talking.
Why is that happening now?
They can do that.
Why isn't it?
Right.
Because, all right, I don't want to keep you guys, like, I'm really sorry for their time with your evenings or whatever, but why I think it didn't happen is the length of time between the April meeting and when we next heard back from commission.
Well, since Mark is not here and I'm being recorded, I don't disagree with you.
I think that's why,
Yeah.
but it's probably not.
There was a big gap, there's no doubt.
Yeah, but also, I mean, do people expect that this is our full-time job? Because I know that I have trouble getting here on Tuesdays for a meeting because I have stuff going on at my work.
From a marketing perspective,
Right.
that's not being thought about. No one's thinking about what your time is.
No, but everybody here has a full-time job.
We know that.
Yeah.
Out there, we came to this, it's been a while before I heard back from you, and then Mark's letter went out. It's like, that's the only thing they're thinking.
Like they're thinking what happened, basically. Like I can hear.
I knew, I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
We don't have like a full-time
Right.
executive director and staff that's, front.
Exactly.
So it's just, you have to bear with us to some degree, and I would say that
If I were to send out something, that's probably one of the first
That's
things
what I said.
Yeah, but
It's gonna take some time.
coming from like,
But do we have someone that can be the interim between us and what's going out?
I
that's
don't
why
know,
I
that's
was
the,
gonna talk about subcommittees, but
Once you go to a subcommittee, you're now dealing with all.
And that could be that's what we're working to establish with the Friends.
yeah.
Yeah, that's as a separate.
Friends it's a little bit more nimble, I think, to,
Yeah. Yeah,
meet and interact and.
and that would be what Friends would be saying, okay, I know you haven't heard from the commission, this is what's going on.
I think that
No, but
would
that's
be
what we're trying to do. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was Sam, and I say this with love, Sammy, who's not here.
So maybe the next communication would be something about we're thinking about establishing a Friends, we don't know what to name it, maybe you can help us name it.
Right.
Are you interested in participating? It's really,
Something maybe just like to think about is how they are perceiving and I mean they meaning like the 80, those that aren't connected with you guys that have no idea that you actually exist.
Yep.
Like how they are perceiving rather than what your duty is.
It's a common issue, because I work with a lot of different boards and commissions, and it's a common issue that we hear from people, which is we don't know what's going on. But, you know, and you think that you're providing a lot of information out there,
Right.
but people are busy, you're not necessarily hitting them when they're receiving that information. It's always gonna be there, so don't take offense, because I hear it all the time. And they say, well, I put out this press release, it was in the newspaper, it was on the webpage. It doesn't matter.
No.
You're still
And
never gonna have.
it's not a glamorous form of communication, but can the minutes be sent out to our email list? Just like, this was our last
So
meeting.
that they can see what we've
Yeah,
done.
maybe.
I mean, everything is public, right? Like, anybody can watch and anybody can read the minutes, but just to make it easier, do we just send the minutes out to our e-list?
Once a month.
Well, you know, the other way is if we just tell people, hey, you can sign up, you'll get notices from the Arts Commission every time we have a posted agenda, send out
I think that's a
information,
good idea.
and then this is how you do it. You check this box, sign up. So maybe that's one way to,
And then when
close
they
that
see
loop.
what's in the lineup, if they wanna have a say, they come.
But I think it's good feedback. That's why I'm asking, like, well, what do you wanna do? What's stopping them from doing that? You know, I don't get it, so.
Yeah, I think it is, I think there's a disconnect between
Yep.
what you guys.
And I get it, I get the fact, like, we had this,
They don't know.
I knew this was gonna, because we had that big build up, we had the workshop.
Oh, yeah.
200 people there, they're all excited, the energy in the room, and then immediately you go out and it's like, because we didn't get to the second part of the workshop, which is, okay, take all this information and try to
Yeah.
make sense of it and help us prioritize it. We never got to that because we ran out of time, so then we're trying to struggle with it here, and we all like.
And it's nobody's,
So-
But nobody knows that we're doing that.
Nobody knows,
Yeah, that's it.
Or the vast majority.
So it's.
So that's something
The
to.
marketing world is, this is what I'm eating now, this is where I'm walking, look at this here. And when you have that gap, it's like, oh, you forgot about me?
well, and again, just for the record, we don't have a dedicated
No.
person to do that. I'm just saying,
They,
anybody listening, I just wanna make sure that it's not like somebody's slacking.
We're definitely aware of the problem, and we've talked about it several times, like we had that meeting, our next meeting was a month later, but that's actually why this work plan was part of the agenda.
Yeah,
But you can see how much we come in to an hour.
exactly.
So we're all aware of it, and it'll just take time unless we get mental one public or more.
That's what I feel like
Direction.
we can do.
Yeah, so
Sending you guys.
no, you said you put this up in there.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I think that's an awesome, like, idea, is send out the minutes to
I
the.
like it, yeah.
Yeah, just like, this is what we talked about.
You don't have to send out, I'm being a jerk now, you don't have to send out all the minutes at once, you send out a little couple minutes and a couple minutes, and then all of a sudden now you got stuff coming out.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Okay, all right.